Welcome, welcome. What's the latest word in Agent Locator, Crystal?
Well, it's the same, really. It's everyone is getting back onto leads. Some individuals are seeing more activity, getting
Hmm.
more alert. So one of the comments I got from somebody yesterday is that they're getting more alerts of people who have been inactive becoming active again after
Definitely.
30 days, right?
Same.
So
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So
It's amazing to me how many are coming back in after 30 days again.
mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. It's definitely something that so we're seeing the buyers that perhaps signed up um even in the summer, like the older ones that were just curious
Hmm.
back then, actually kind of going back and checking out to see what's happening. So
Yep.
that could be a promising possible promising kind of behavior that we're seeing, that people are now looking, and they could still very well be watching to see what this market has to offer, if there is a turn
Sure.
or what have
Sure.
you. But people
Yeah.
are, buyers are hopefully going to pick up the pace a little bit this year for everyone's sake. For everyone's sake. But it's
I
it's even last
definitely
year, it's like it's hard because even talking to some top producing realtors, having teams knowing, and they're telling me that their team has had to, some of them have had to step in and get part-time jobs just to facilitate their income and just kind of fill the gap where it's needed.
I've definitely had multiple agents tell me that they were considering shelving their license, which here in Ontario we call it parking.
Hmm.
I know that a lot of agents now are kind of looking at full-time jobs and so forth. And again, I mean, you got to do what you got to do for your family. Nobody's going to criticize you. There's business out there for all of us, no matter what level of real estate you're in. I do
Hmm.
think, though, that it is really important, and this is why I wrote the training course Beat the Market. I know I'm kind of blocking the
Hmm.
market behind me, but I do think that before agents decide to get out of the business, you kind of have to self-check yourself first as well.
Hmm.
I think that there's a lot of realtors that have a hard time figuring out how to work their business to get business,
Hmm.
right? And I think sometimes you don't realize how difficult it is in a slower market, that you really got to step up the pace, and you've really got to work your business plan, and you've really got to have all of your I's dotted and T's crossed into where is my business coming from, right?
Yeah.
And it starts, I mean, we're on here, I could talk about business planning forever. Sorry, I'm feeling like my voice is getting scratchy.
Yeah.
You wore on me, girl.
Hopefully
Um,
not.
I think that we've also got to have the mindset, maintain that positive mindset, and look at what
Mhm.
we're doing first and foremost with our leads.
Yes.
What are we doing to work the leads? So I can tell you from an Ontario perspective of where I'm in my market, I am definitely seeing more solds, 100%. I'm seeing more buyers now coming back out of um where were
Hibernation.
they, hibernation? Yeah, exactly. And they're poking their heads and they're starting to buy, and
Yeah.
I'm noticing an uptick. Certainly by no means is it a typical uptick that we always see in January right through to April, not yet. But I am seeing people kind of get off their butts a little bit more.
Hmm.
And the thing is guys, when they ask the questions and when they're looking at listings, we got to be there to answer them right away. We got to be on top of
Hmm.
them. And that's where you get lost when you do decide to now go get another job and so forth. It's like that vicious circle, right?
Yeah.
Where when you're
Yeah.
preoccupied trying to make a living, these are the types of things that can get lost and you end up losing business.
Hmm.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah, I would say an
Absolutely.
uptick. I think people would agree with me too on that for the most part.
Hmm.
Things are selling.
Yeah.
I put a listing on Guelph back on the market. I listed it middle of March last year. I think we ended up taking it off around September. I probably had four showings in total. It's an investment purpose-built condo by the university. I put it back on the market January 12th and I sold it on the weekend.
Nice.
You
Yeah.
know, nobody wanted it last year.
Hmm.
Like I couldn't give it away. I couldn't give it away. Right? So just to show you, right? There's hope
It,
there.
there is hope, and that goes to show as well. It's a great, maybe not right now or the snow is the way it is, but it's a great opportunity to start sourcing, looking for those off-market opportunities because there is a ton of people that perhaps were just watching the market, homeowners that they could see the neighbors' houses just not selling, so
Yeah.
what's the point, right? So potentially door knocking could be of significant value to you guys to source out these potential homeowners, or you might come across those
Yeah.
that may never, didn't actually sell. We don't want to target them specifically, but
Right.
knowing where they are, that
Yeah.
you have these potential, homeowners that wanted to sell that just weren't successful, likely no cause of the listing agent, but just the market itself.
Yep. Yep. I mean, in this market, for any realtor, for any market, for any realtor, I love the realtors that say we only work by referrals. When I was doing the Beat class, because we just launched it, so we're on our last session coming up. One of our realtors that are taking it saying, I really want to kind of make my business a little bit more, but I've always been repeat and referrals, and this is a perfect example of when you do kind of want to elevate your business. If
Mhm.
you've only relied on one pillar of your business, then you've got no other funnels being fed, right? So
Mhm.
as realtors, it's really important to have multiple sources that you're working of leads to be able to come in. What are the established pillars of your business? And what are we doing every week to work each of those pillars to ensure that our funnels are always being fed? Our pipeline is always having things come into it. I think
Mhm.
there's nothing wrong with door knocking at all. I think it's a great way to just say to people, I just wanted to let you know I'm a local realtor. Can I give you
Mhm.
my card? Or I'm having an open house down the road, on Saturday. Take a moment and come by,
Mhm.
right? I think that we have to all get back to the basics in a really tough market. And it's hard, it's not easy. Some
Mhm.
of us aren't built for it, for
Yeah.
sure, but I know that we all can do it. It's just
Yes.
stepping out of your comfort zone just a little bit,
Yes.
right? What are
Absolutely.
we doing with our leads, Crystal? How many times have you heard me say, if you're hosting an open house, your first database you want to go to send invitations is our agent locator lead database,
Mhm.
right? I just want you to come over and say hi, right?
Mhm.
Just take
Yeah.
that opportunity to just get to know these people a little bit better.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. There's so many different ways that you can target the door knocking as well as reaching out and
anything.
utilizing our agent locator database as well.
Yep,
You
yep.
guys do also, if you have your branded website, get the partial leads. Those are people that perhaps have went to go sign up for Street Match or Homeworth, left an address but didn't complete the full
Right.
registration. So you
Yep.
legitimately have a list of streets that you can target. Even targeting some of the leads that may have come into your website to fill out the Street Match or Homeworth. You know where they live. Go target that street. Like there's so many different ways
I
that
love
you
it.
can utilize that information to your advantage and potentially get in front of that homeowner by accident. Even I'm door knocking the street,
Sure,
oh,
sure. Yeah.
it's just an odd coincidence,
Just
without sounding
don't lose
creepy.
the faith,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Don't lose the
Exactly.
faith. Always be mindful of who you can talk to. And it
Yeah.
does stem with the leads that we're buying. When I'm
Hmm.
sitting at a listing presentation, and even on Saturday when I was on one, when they were like, can you talk about how you're going to market the home? One of the biggest things that I talk about is not all it's, of course, I'm talking about our door knocking and, our just listeds and stuff, but I
Mhm.
always tell them about the agent locator lead database that I have, right? And you can kind of give an approximate number. Hey, I've got 1,000 people registered, and there's more that comes in every day. And they're the first
Mhm.
ones that I say, hey, just a heads up, right? I have this
Yeah.
coming. Our branding and the purchasing of the agent locator leads can take us so far in regards to even getting listings,
Yes,
right? Because it
absolutely.
is, you have to view it as your database of buyers.
Hmm.
And I'm
And you
telling
do
you,
have,
it always amazes the people when I'm on a listing appointment, it always amazes them
mhm,
that I have this database as on
yes.
top of all the rest of your databases you have,
Right,
right?
right.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
on top of that, you guys have the listing exposure tool in your system. So that's pulling all the potential buyers within the agent locator back end. So they're not necessarily your leads, but they're all receiving listings on the board that you're associated with. So you can pull that number of like, okay, the property is a house, you're planning on listing it between this price and this price. It has 3 bedrooms. How many buyers are in the agent locator data set up to receive listings matching that exact criteria.
That's
So not
great.
only can you pull based off of your leads, that may be looking for that, but you're saying, hey, there's a database. There's about 9,000 people currently looking for, a 3 bedroom condo between this, like whatever price range, right? That would be
Hmm.
receiving your listing as soon as we get it posted,
I think
right?
that's
So,
great. Yeah.
mhm,
And I'll be honest, it's something like I go into the listing tool a lot, but I never really thought of it that way. And that's what I really like about Agent Locator is you're making it a lot easier for us to do so many more things with
mhm,
all of our business, right? All of
yes,
our business. So when it comes to, let me put you on the hot seat. Now I'm interviewing you,
sure.
right?
Okay.
Um, always, late fall, November, December, always Google lead searches do tend to get slower, right? We all
Hmm.
get
Hmm.
busy, everybody's doing their own thing, and they don't necessarily type in houses for sale in Toronto, let's just say, right?
Yes.
Are we noticing with the Google searches alone that the searches are starting to ramp up again?
They are starting to, which means that your cost per lead, so month to month, it does change as to the average cost per lead. Just depends on, there's so many different variable factors, right? So
Yeah.
consumer searching, competition, how much you're spending, all of those things are variable factors in that. But as we are swinging into these beginning months, for sure, the search rate is increasing. And for those of you, and this is also why we encourage anyone that's, in those later months wanting to put their Google on hold, why we encourage them
Mm,
not to as well. Couple factors on that is algorithms, right? So
yeah.
if you have your campaign, it's already peaked and it's performing well, and you're like, well, no one's going to be buying, in November, December, really. So I'd rather save my money and just turn it off. We'll typically say, keep it at like $50 a month. Put something in there. That way your algorithm does not disappear. Because
Right.
if you turn it off completely, that now you're down here. And now, while all of your competition is also saying, hey, I'm going to turn my ads on right now, you're now in competition with them to get your algorithm back up to where it was, if it can even hit that same algorithm, right? So
Mm,
it's always beneficial to keep things going. And if you have the funds to just keep it going all together, if the consumers aren't out there searching, your ad's not getting clicked. So you're not necessarily going to be using up all of your budget anyway if it was really
right.
dead and quiet out there.
Yeah.
Uh, but again, putting in perspective, if you have people still searching in November, December, those are potentially January, February, March, April, May buyers, right? That you're collecting ahead of everyone else that decides to wait until January, February, March to turn their campaigns on.
Yeah. And I think we talked about this before as well. Even if financially, from a financial perspective, you really have no choice but to pause, please at least keep the leads from getting listings,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're going to lose what you've paid for altogether if they don't continue to get listings from you.
Mm-hmm.
And believe you me, I mean, I'm still assuming, and I've always said this, if they're getting listings from us, they're getting listings from 20 or 30 or more other agents as well, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
so I do love that you guys do have the ability to have those discussions with each agent and, you know, understanding as well your service provider. But at the end of the day, 2025 was very eye-opening for so many realtors who've never experienced such a slowdown before.
Mm-hmm. For
So
sure.
that's great. So don't be afraid, everybody. I should continue to say this. Ask questions, right?
Yes.
I think we want
Absolutely.
to hear from them. We always love it, right?
A
You
hundred
know, I don't want
percent.
to talk about nothing. I want to talk about what you guys need, right? I'm a
Hmm.
big, big, big person. I get asked this a lot. My email drip campaign, yes, it works. Yes, I constantly modify it. The number one question I think most is, so you don't make phone calls, Tara? I am an all-purpose lead converter. I am never here to say don't make a phone call. What I've learned is I make my calls differently. I don't necessarily, with the power of my email drip campaign, need to call them until they answer. I don't need to call them the moment they hit my phone. But for those that want to make phone calls, I'm all for it.
Hmm.
I'm a big person where I watch and I learn. There's certain times where maybe times have changed and we've got to beef up the calls. I'll be the first one to do it. Absolutely. But the power of your drip campaign can also make it much easier for you in converting as long as you've got that nailed in drip campaign and you're willing to continue to adjust it, right?
Hmm.
What I've been doing a lot of is creating additional email touches based on world conditions, rate conditions, whatever's up and coming, and what I'm noticing a trend. So almost every week to every other week, I'm introducing a new email, and I'm starting to do it with touching with the people as they come in through the email notifications. So
Hmm.
every time a lead comes in, I'll shoot them off this template as a starter, just to get an idea of what their reaction is. And I'm getting a lot of really good response. So the more templates I create to start having so many additional soft touches to go out
Hmm.
is really bringing them even closer and communicating with them even more with me on top of the email drip. So
Yeah.
I that's my goal is to continue to build. Once I start seeing a lot of communication from a certain template I've created, now I'm going to add it to my drip,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So my drip is constantly getting longer and longer. And a lot of
Hmm.
people, I believe, feel overwhelmed by creating the drip, right? And
Hmm.
I get that. But what I can tell you is when you spend a little bit of time to create it, it sure makes lead conversion a whole lot less overwhelming
Hmm.
because I'm rocking it. I am killing it. It's been a standard for me. My numbers last year were at 75% of my deals were agent locator,
Nice.
right? It's just complete the same. I'm always
Hmm.
in the 70s,
Yeah.
right? And this will be no different, but it's because I'm completely monitoring that drip campaign and it works on top of all the other little things that you do for them, right? Okay,
Yeah.
I saw a question come.
Absolutely. Yes. We have one thing I think Ali commented about pipeline. His buyers cover Milton, Mississauga, Whitby, and York region. And since the start of the year, I've noticed several properties sell, some in
Yes.
multiples,
Yeah.
some in
Oh,
2021 style 8 to 10 offers. Thankful
really?
pricing, some, still thankfully the pricing is still under control, but definitely there's an uptick.
Okay. Okay,
Mhm.
thanks for that, Allie.
Mhm.
I haven't noticed 8 to 10 offers, but I could imagine if that was the case, if it was the Whitby area, Durham region, I would imagine that that house was listed extremely reasonably well. But
Mhm.
yes, an uptick for sure, for sure.
It's
Okay.
motivated. It always helps when you have a motivated seller.
Yeah.
Um, right. John's asking, I don't know what campaigns you're using, but the one from AL isn't working. So Tara
Who is
builds
it?
out her
Who was
own.
that said that? Okay, John.
John
Okay.
Becker. Yeah. Yeah. So there's different campaigns. Tara's campaigns are, correct me if I'm wrong, primarily email based.
Hmm.
She manually assigns each campaign because she wants to see each lead that's coming in and kind of go through those steps herself. I think you've thrown in a handful of SMSs over time just to kind of play
Yep.
around with that as well. But they are primarily coming from her. It's her tonality, coming from a place of gratitude, and it's really what's working well for her business. And really that's what we've encouraged all of you over time is, these communications do need to sound like they're coming from you, from your perspective and knowledge of the market and how you would
Yep.
essentially want to be communicating with any buyer, whether it's an online lead or someone that, you're on floor duty and they walked in, or a referral that was given to you. Right. So that's what can also set you apart from just having something that's generically created
Yeah.
to actually just jumping in and modifying and learning how to do that and just spending a bit of time. Like I'm like in the process of building know, so many different campaigns right now. It is a lot of work. It's a lot of back and forth. But once you kind of put your head and you start grinding, it's beneficial, right? It's useful to have that and just use like Google Docs and you can create the tabs of different messages and using your own tonality, leveraging AI to help you rewrite it, or add to it, or
Sure.
just
Sure.
all those different things that you can use. And if you don't want to use AI, you don't have to. Some of us love writing and we're really just fantastic at it.
Mhm.
So it's just doing it. It's like anything. You just got to do it.
You
And you'll
just,
be
and you know
thanking
what?
yourself.
I do understand what he's saying because I think, um, again, we get the leads, we get busy, and then we're so overwhelmed. So the drip campaigns
Mhm.
that are there, you can also, and we've said this a lot, you can use them as a template. So even if you don't like everything that Agent Locator has and whatever buyer drip number one, take it,
Mhm.
use it as a template and reformulate it in your words, right?
Yeah.
So that's the beautiful thing is you can go in and edit it. I do think it's important. So when I first started doing this over 19 years ago, and I won't go into the long story because many of you are on here again and have heard me tell it, but I created a powerful way of conversion through email because that's when we got realtor.ca and people started, because we just got the internet, people started communicating with realtors through pressing that button on realtor.ca saying, get more info here. So we weren't getting their phone numbers anymore and they weren't calling us. They were emailing us saying, I want more information on 123 Main Street. So without a phone number, all of us old agents who've been in the business since before the internet, we're used to converting people over the phone, right?
Mhm.
So you would always soften your voice, you would always pause it, you would always listen. You knew the technique verbally to get people to come out and see the house with you. We mastered
Mhm.
it. But
Mhm.
now we've got to reinvent the wheel through an email, which was new to us. So,
Mhm.
right from the beginning, and this is going to really, if you take anything away, I knew that if I were going to get these people in a car without a phone, I had to approach them the way that I would want to be approached.
Mhm.
I need somebody soft. Don't be hardcore sales because guess what? You're going to see my butt as I walk right back out, right?
Mhm.
So I started developing emails back then, 19 years ago, that would work for me. Hey, you're not wasting my time. Even if you just want to come out and take a quick peek and it's not quite ready, just know that's okay. Just a soft touch is
Mhm.
basically what I'm saying. So
Hmm.
once I got that down to a science, and then we all started buying Google Leads because that all became a thing, that's when I started creating the email drip. How I want to be treated is exactly what my email drip does to others, right? So just think of it from that perspective and think about day one. Somebody comes on and registers, they get listings, right? Never
Hmm.
forget, all they want from us is to see new houses every day.
Hmm.
What we do extra is to start building that trust, right? So your first email, hey, Bob, thanks for coming on my site and checking out the listings. I really appreciate it. If you ever need anything or want your search changed, please let me know. You can send me a text or you can reply to this email. Have a great day. That's your day one
Hmm.
email, right? So it's not that hard, right?
No, and it's simple. So, and I know we've talked about this in the past, is not creating these campaign type emails where it's like, a 500 word essay, because that
No,
doesn't come across as realistic.
no,
We want these
no.
emails in the campaign, even though they're kind of pre-built to be sent out on your behalf, to appear as though you just took the time right then and there to put
Sure.
together the email and send it off to that person
Yep.
specifically.
Yep. And that's all I do. And just so everybody knows, I do about a soft, I call it a soft email. I don't know, you can call it whatever you want, maybe every 5 or 6 days. So in the
Mhm.
middle, they're just getting listings, right? And then my templates I send off during their email notifications. So they really are, for the most part, hearing from me, but they're hearing from me very softly. First and foremost, they're getting listings because I will always make sure that they get listings every single day from me. And I think my drip right now, we're at about 187 days. And then every 2 weeks, I'm slowly adding another template on because I've tested it for
Mhm.
a couple of weeks to see what the
Yes.
response is. Yeah.
Okay.
And so
Yes. And
it's not that difficult. I know it sounds overwhelming, but listen, my
yes.
first agent locator email drip campaign, because I created a new one when I started 10 years ago, was only 45 days, right?
Yeah.
So it was literally maybe 6 or 7 emails,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? Plus listings, plus
Yes.
listings every day, right?
Yeah. It's and so kind of looping back into that, where we look at things as being overwhelming, but also the success, and kind of even tailoring back to a lot of individuals, you know, having to tail things back or getting part-time jobs.
Yeah,
What would be and a lot of what it comes down to when I talk to other individuals that are successful is all about positioning yourself and really holding yourself accountable, that if I don't have business right now, what am I doing every single day? Am I working a full-time job trying to get that business? Because a lot of us aren't doing that, right? We may be putting a
nope,
little bit in or brushing it off
yep,
as being the market is
yep,
this or that.
yep.
What advice would you give, to somebody that is in that boat where they're not getting success or not getting any buyers or listings or this or that, and or working on campaigns to hold themselves accountable, so that every day they're working hard on their business, so that they are generating business through their efforts rather than just waiting for the opportunity to just miraculously appear?
Yeah. So even for me, after 30 years in the business, I self-check myself all the time. Um, yeah, we can blame lack of business on the market only to a certain point, because with a bad market, I still sold houses last year, right? So let's go back to the old adage, right? Where 90% of the agents do less than 2 deals a year, 3 deals a year, 10% of the agents are doing 10 plus agents deals a year. So take a step back and say, how come agent so and so is constantly working? Everybody's numbers change every year. That's always a given, right? We never do the
Mhm.
same numbers. But just take a self check and just say to yourself, what could I be doing more? And here's what the problem is with all of us. And I can have pity parties too. Don't get me wrong, right? How many times have I said, "Okay, Walmart, here I come. Blue vest," right? I'm coming, right? Because it does get overwhelming. But I've said this when I had my coaching company for lead conversion, this crazy thing called lead gen. I said this, all of my coaching members got a little plaque that I had engraved. You have to work on your business to work in your business. There is no deal tree. We can't just expect deals to land on our lap. So it starts with a business plan. What does my business look like? What is the affirmation I have for my business? What can I bring to people? What can I bring to them? What are the pillars of my business? What am I going to work? Am I door knocking? Am I buying leads? What am I doing with my past clients? What am I doing with my sphere of influence? There, you've got 4 pillars of your business right there. So every single month, what am I doing for each of those pillars? There's your business plan. It's as simple as that, right? If you don't have a budget, hey, you got feet, right? You can
Mm-hmm.
go knock on somebody's door. You can hand out a business card. I guarantee you, when you put a plan together, very simple to start, now you know what you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. If you think your past clients or your sphere are going to use you as a realtor, but they don't ever hear from you as a realtor, they're going
Yeah.
to use somebody else, right? They're going to use somebody else. So, what I'm saying is, please, 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 I beg you, have a plan. Because the more that you work on your business, you will see the deals come. It's natural. It happens, right? And
Yeah.
that's what it starts with. So, a couple of people, we talked about this before, and I think there was this lady that came on our Zoom and she was like, I don't have a business plan. If
Mm-hmm.
anybody doesn't have templates, I do have one. That being said, go to the brokerage, ask your manager, ask your broker of record, do you have a template of a business plan? And start there. Again, if you get overwhelmed easy, don't modify it to you because if you become overwhelmed, I know right away you're going to stop doing it. But
Mm-hmm.
you first and foremost have to have at least 3 to 5 pillars of your business. What am I going to work to get business coming to me? The
Mm-hmm.
more people that hear about you as a realtor, the more referrals are going to come your way. The more leads
Absolutely.
you buy, the greater deals you're going to do with Agent Locator. And guys, it's not easy for me. I'm on my own, right?
Mm-hmm.
I come in at the end of the day and sometimes I want to have a meltdown because this business can just rock you, right? But then I'm like, well, I didn't spend all this money and all these
Yeah.
years to have another pity party. Come
Yeah.
on, get your ass together, Tara. Where is it coming from? Right?
Exactly.
Mindset.
Yes.
Mindset.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And even if we can't be spending money, knowing that the majority of buyers, if not like almost all of them or sellers, they're all online. So if we can't afford at this time to be budgeting to do any kind of paid expenses, what are you doing manually to be attracting businesses? Because you guys have websites with lead capture. You have, I imagine, various amounts of social pages. What are we using and leveraging
Sure.
to make
Yeah.
ourselves, known and people
Yeah.
aware that we're in real estate? Are we doing soft touches or outreaches to our client, our friend lists, which likely are our friends, family, what have you, just being like, hey,
Right.
there's so many different ways that we could be leveraging online tools without actually having to pay for it. It's already
Sure.
there.
Yep. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, your business card goes a long way, right? So
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that when I was coaching a lot, and even when I'm teaching beat, I tell this story about my nail guy. How, he didn't want to put my card up when I first became a realtor. And I was like, hell no. Like I refer people to you. You're not going to put my card up. Like that makes no
Mm-hmm.
sense to me. And so,
Yeah.
he gave in and the next time I went for a fill 3 weeks later, I got a listing. right?
Hmm.
So just think about that, right? Take a coffee. If you go to Tim Hortons, take a coffee to two of your sphere of influence, right? Give them your business card. It can be as little as that. The
Hmm.
thing is, Crystal and everybody, it takes a plan. You got to
Hmm.
plan to do it first.
Yes.
Even when I had, we all have periods of time in our careers where we're like, oh my goodness, okay, my buyers have bought. Where's my next deal coming from? Right? Like you can
Yeah.
never be satisfied, right?
Hmm.
I'm like,
Hmm.
where's my next
Yeah,
deal? Where's
I
my
know.
next deal? Right? And then I'm kind of like, okay, Tara, where have we got to beef it up? Where's it coming from? What do I have to do to get the next deal? And a
Hmm.
lot of times, I sometimes think that we get so used to our sphere of influence just knowing us as Tara Baylis that, because they don't know me as Tara Baylis, the realtor, because I don't ask them if I can give
Hmm.
them my card or
Yeah.
can I put my card here because you have a business, right? Then,
Yes.
then we
You
lose a
have
lot
to.
of business that way.
We
Yeah.
do, we do, and it's there's a lot of, and I know someone specifically that assume that because you're friends with them and you know that they're a realtor, that you're just going to always refer them out. But at the same time, it's like if I'm not seeing you being an
Yeah.
active realtor, I am not as confident giving your name out. Because again, bear in mind, the average person knows how many realtors. All right, so which one would I feel
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
confident? It's kind of like if somebody's asking, hey, can you get me that job? I never, never, you want that job, you go get it on your own. I am not having any part of
Right.
that, right? Because
Right.
I don't know you well. I know you as a person or a friend. I don't know how you are as an employee.
Right.
I'm not going to back
Yeah.
that and put myself on the line for it. That'll just
Yeah.
backfire for all I know, right? So it's the same idea if you're hiring a
You never
realtor,
know.
right?
Yeah.
Somebody is if you're not, if I don't see you being proactive and productive, and this is somebody or people that you're close to, why should I just give you this opportunity? And I don't really know if I'm handing this person off to somebody that is
Yeah.
really going to be acting in their best interests,
Yeah.
right? So again,
It's
that kind of
so
goes
it's
back to,
it's tough, eh?
it is tough. It's one of those things because you
But the
always want to
onus comes
support your
on
friends and
us.
family. Yeah, right? So it's,
Onus comes on us. And oh, we've got Noelle. Okay.
yeah,
Sorry,
so
who is
this
that? Is that
is she's posting because Agent Locator had posted a business planning one.
okay?
Refer to page,
Perfect.
business planning guide. Yeah. So Agent
Okay.
Locator had put
I
something
just
in
didn't
there
want to
about
miss a
the
question.
26th.
Does anybody
Yeah.
else have any questions for us? Anything? Speak up or forever hold your peace.
For at least a month.
Yeah,
For a month.
yeah, exactly. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Could you imagine? I'm excited
Goodness,
for what
goodness.
the rest of the year has. I definitely
Yes.
am seeing um it was very interesting to me because I'm always you know me, I watch my email notifications like a hawk, right?
Hmm. Yes.
Probably 100 times a day, I'm sure. I go on there just to see what they're doing. And we got a big storm Sunday that I was telling you about. If I'm sure you heard about it.
Yes.
Well, let me tell you something. Hardly anybody coming online during the storm. And I'm
Yeah.
like, see, it's so wild to me. I always notice a little bit of a slowdown, sometimes for a week in July and maybe a week in August, where people are probably vacationing and stuff like that. But our lead volume is affected by things like weather as well, right? It's
Yes.
it's
Oh, for
mind blowing to
sure.
me. It's so mind blowing.
Yeah. I
Okay, I saw something come in, guys.
That link is showing up as an error, and I'm wondering which one that she's trying to share. And I feel like I have a similar one. If it is the same one, that is not the one
Okay, Allie,
that
I
I
saw your
have.
question. I don't use the bot. Um, don't hate me, but I like how I do my conversions. So I haven't activated it. The people at Agent Locator certainly have asked me to, and as it stands right now, I'm perfectly happy with not using it. I know from a lot of the webinars that I've done, a lot of people say they've actually quite liked it. A lot of people say they didn't and they kind of had to redo it a little bit. So I definitely think if you feel it will help you, try it and see. And if anybody else has any advice for Allie on the bot, please, please, please chime in.
So
Oh,
yes, they've disclosed, and this is I've said this in the past. A lot of people are like, I don't want a bot at responding to my
and I
leads,
don't.
but the bot for a lot of individuals can
Okay.
now actually extract a lot more information from that
So
lead than the
Allie's finding that.
average. Yeah, the average realtor would be
Good.
able to, just the way it kind of goes and engages with the lead for sure.
Okay,
So
perfect, Allie. I appreciate that. So let me throw this back to Crystal. I have a
mhm.
question. I think we talked about this before. Forgive me if I'm forgetful. Can you have the bot ask specific questions that maybe are important for each realtor? No.
No,
Okay.
no. You can ask the question in your campaign if the bot would then trigger that question. So if they
Okay.
respond to that question and then the bot engages based on that, but the bot is question and answer based. So whatever question you put, it takes that into consideration and how the lead is replying, and then takes that lead to help pre-qualify and to determine motivations, timelines, budgets,
Okay.
locations, the motivations, and really can extract a lot of information, as well as being very human like and showing compassion when it's necessary as well. So like different, and for anyone that has the bot, if you're kind of like, oh, I don't know about this, or maybe you haven't
Hmm.
seen it fully engage, register, go on your web, let the bot engage and start throwing at some wild scenarios at it. And it knows how to respond to each and every one of them
Okay.
with
Okay.
yeah, it doesn't, it's very, and of course it's not, and I think what's also beneficial about the bot is when we're responding to people and we're looking for the outcome, we're so focused on the outcome and not messing something up. The bot
Right.
doesn't care. The bot has a job, and its job is to extract as much information from this person. There's no emotion attached to the outcome other than it's trying to just see what information it can gather and kind of go from there. You will get an alert if the lead requests a call or the conversation goes into kind of a pattern where it's suggestive that you should probably step in now, and or reach out to this person. You will get a notification alert from our system saying,
Hmm.
this one here is basically you should be following up with.
So overall, for the agents that are engaging with the bot, having the bot
Mhm.
on their system, is any stats coming out that the conversions are slightly higher than the ones that don't?
I would have to see what we have on the
Okay.
stats for the bot. I'm sure. I'm
I would
sure.
love that because I think that's a really good piece of information that we can share
Hmm.
on the
Hmm.
webinars.
Hmm.
I don't expect it to be a massive difference only because it's just starting out, right? But
Hmm.
over time, if this is the way everything is going, I do believe that you're going to see the ones with using the bot are probably going to have a
A
higher
little bit more
conversion
success.
rate. Yep.
Well, and you can even put into consideration, and everyone that's on here that perhaps isn't using a bot, what's your response when somebody tells you that you're just browsing? A lot of individuals ignore that response. They don't, if it's a negative, not what they want to hear, a lot of the realtors are
Oh,
not responding back. The
oh, I'm
bot
going to have a
doesn't
heart
take
attack.
that
Right.
as an end of opportunity. It'll still continue to engage to try to determine what is, if not now, then when.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so it
Okay.
still treats that lead as if it's an active lead. They are just browsing. That's fine. Well, what is it that you're browsing for?
Okay.
Right. So
So,
it can really, and it's even a learning tool for some. If you're watching, because, oh, that was a great way to word that question, or, I love how it didn't give up, and it
Right.
will follow up. So if somebody tells them, no, we're just looking for now and doesn't really have a time frame, the bot will try to re-engage with that lead, and I think in about 3 weeks, just to see where things are at.
It'll go back out. So the
Hmm.
bot can, in conjunction with email drip campaigns, like nothing changes from the inside. It's just that little extra touch, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay.
Absolutely. And you
Well,
know that you're being responsive to your leads that may be replying to text, and you could be at a wedding, for example, and leads
that's
are,
fair.
you can't
That's
do
fair.
anything. The bot's
Yep.
sitting there having full on conversations with your leads for you.
So I just saw a comment, and I think that's actually a really good one. Um,
Hmm.
is Agent Locator able to have the bots adapt more to the personalities of each agent?
No, and the bot doesn't come across. The bot is not suggesting that it's you. Your bot's name is Emma. She's your customer care person.
Okay.
And
Okay.
she announces herself as that.
Okay. So maybe that's actually a good thing, guys. And I'm gonna go old school, old school. There were some agents back in the day. I'm not as sure as it's popular now that would have internal ISA people, right? Who would just be on the phone trying to get you an appointment. And the hardest part for conversion that way for a lot of agents was now this person is calling the lead, or emailing the lead, and the lead is getting attached to Sarah, the ISA, who is not a realtor. And now the lead says, yes, Sarah, I would like an agent to come and meet with me. And now the lead is getting passed off because Sarah's no
Yes.
longer in the picture. And now they
Hmm.
got to build that trust again right from day one with somebody that they've never had a conversation to.
Yeah.
So maybe this is a good thing, right? That this is somebody that works for us,
Yeah.
right? Emma's my
Yeah.
assistant.
Yeah.
Um, and there's no real engaging in regards to a passing off type idea,
Hmm. Hmm.
right?
It would,
You're
yeah.
you're
It's right
stepping in
away,
sooner
right
than
away.
later.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And right away it's
got it.
announcing as your assistant, and let me, see. And it's always, yeah, it's always working again as if they're working for you. It's not a third party person or what have you, or any of that.
Well,
And
I'll
it's all
tell
through
you what,
text. There's no
everybody.
phone call, right? So it's just information through text rather
Right.
than, building that relationship on a conversation with somebody on the phone, and talking to them always on a regular basis, right? Where that
Okay.
person gets comfortable with speaking to somebody versus
Right.
somebody
Right.
else, right? They don't like to be
Right.
handed off when they get comfortable with somebody.
It's hard, right? And that's
Mhm.
why I think uh, trying to convert the Google leads can be so overwhelming because they don't trust us. We're not meeting them at an open house. We're not, you know what I mean? This
Mhm.
isn't a referral from our past client. You got to start right from square one, and now you're doing it through email or texting or trying to build trust on the phone.
Yes.
So I'm going to give the bot a try. I like the name Emma. So
Mhm.
I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to
Yeah.
tell Agent Locator to activate the bot
Mhm.
and just see so that because this is not the first time I've had this question. And
Mhm.
I'm gonna give you my opinion, but I'm gonna give it a few months. My
Mhm.
biggest fear with the bot is they're asking too many questions and now the lead gets pissed off,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Because my email campaign is so gentle. But let's give it a
Mhm.
try because if I can bring any more value to you guys that make behind the scenes your conversion easier, I'll give you my honest opinion. No offense, Agent Locator, but
Yeah.
I'm a tough nut to crack because I do convert. But I also do think that if this is going to be easier for most of us, why not give it
Mhm.
a shot? So
Absolutely.
what
And
do you
it's
give me? Do you give me 60 days or 90 days? What is this a challenge?
yeah,
My own
let's
challenge.
do, what are you, we're at Jan, so February, March, April. So by the end of April, you should be able to know. She should be able to know before that. But it's really just so that you know and everyone
Okay.
else knows is this bot is only
Okay.
going to engage on a lead that is currently sitting with a pipeline of not set, new lead, tried to contact, or non-responsive.
Okay.
Meaning if you have made
Yep.
contact with these people in the past, it is not going to engage with them. So it's only for people that we have yet to communicate with.
Sure. Perfect.
Right. So
Perfect.
you don't
Okay.
have to, yeah, you don't have to worry about it like overstepping and all of a sudden having this random communication with somebody. Um, that you've already spoke
Okay.
to. Yeah.
You've no idea how stressed I am right now about this. This is like teaching an old
Yeah.
dog new tricks,
And you
man.
can do it. You know what,
Okay.
Tara? I challenge you to pull up all your old database that
Oh,
perhaps you haven't made contact with and just sending out a
yeah.
mass text to like 50 of them, a simple mass text,
Yep.
and see if they
And I do
respond.
that.
And then, yeah, and then
I do. Yeah.
whatever responds to that, if you
I'll
haven't,
look at it from that point. It's like doing a
yeah,
mass thing. And I've
yeah,
got,
and
I think in my database, we're at over 6,000 leads now. So,
there's definitely,
okay, I'll try. I'll
yes.
try.
Uh,
I did see a question, when do I call my leads? So,
mhm,
because my email drip is very powerful, I now use my email notifications to call my leads. So I always say this, I don't even say call my leads, I say introduce my voice. So with my coaching company, this crazy thing called Lead Gen, I do have a phone script booked that kind of Crystal touched on a little bit, where whenever I do make a call, I'm coming from gratitude. It's not a survey type call. So let's say a lead comes on and likes a property 3 times. Let's just say that. Yes, I send them the listings, but once I start noticing that they're coming on a fair bit, liking 3 times a fair bit, I will use that opportunity to now introduce my voice to a lead, right? So that's what I do. Of course, ask a question, request a tour, all of those. Those are perfect ways to make phone calls. Another time I do is monitoring your email notifications. You're going to start to see everybody that some leads come on more often than not. Like you might say,
mhm,
Cindy Smith come on once in a while, and then all of a sudden she's 2 or 3 times a week. Then all of a sudden she's daily. That might be a great opportunity for me to introduce my voice to Cindy, and a call
mhm,
is super gentle. Hi, it's Tara calling from begintosearch.com. I just wanted to call and say thank you so much for coming on my site. Cindy, you've been coming on a lot lately, and I just wanted you to know that I really appreciate it. That's how all my calls start. If they're calling
mhm,
to book a showing on a property, clearly, hey, I just noticed that you wanted to see 123 Main Street. I'm going to shoot you over the listing right now, and then have that conversation. So I take the pressure off me. This isn't a call to convert. This is a call to say thank you,
mhm.
right? When I do that, guys, I'm telling you, I blow everybody's mind. As soon as I say it's Tara calling from Begin to Search, I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming on my site. They always say the same thing. They're like, oh my God, Tara, I can't believe you're calling me. I love your site. It's easy. Thanks. Like it just sets the tone. Once the tone is
Mhm.
set, my goal, my philosophy is this is not my show. This is their show. They direct how this call goes. And if this lead wants to engage and wants to talk about their search and listings, I'm there to continue the conversation. If I get the feeling that they're really good with the thank you, I'm like, hey, this is my cell number because I'm calling you directly. Save it. I'm always here if you need me. Right. And every lead is different. You can be on the phone listening to how much they hate their husband for the next 20 minutes,
Yeah.
or it can be 30 or 40 seconds and I'm calling it a day and booking
Go.
in Agent Locator a follow-up call, right?
Yeah.
But I come from gratitude, not survey,
Mhm,
nothing. Yeah.
mhm.
Oh, you're welcome, Dana. You're
Awesome.
welcome.
And just one last question from John is just wondering if on your coaching, do you do role play or overview the call that the calls? So basically listening back on calls and reviewing the calls that
I'm
people do
happy to do
are
it.
making.
Yeah. Yeah, in Beat the Market, we're not doing role playing, but it is very interactive. We interact together. With the coaching company, this crazy thing, there's a lot of one-on-one coaching. I'm happy to listen to calls. I'm happy to do it.
Mhm.
Everybody's
Yeah.
different. Not everybody likes to role play. Some people get really nervous about role playing. I mean, it kind of it's
Yes,
out of
it
your
is.
comfort zone. But at the end of the
Yes, it
day,
is.
whatever it takes to make you more comfortable, I think any agent should be willing to do, any mentor that you have, right? I'm
It's
just here to kind of,
it's our main, it's our minds.
yep, keep you as
Minds
positive
playing
as
tricks.
possible, right? It's all
You
about your
betcha.
mindset.
And do listen back to your own calls. I tell people this all the time. Listen to your own calls because you're going to yourself spot different things that you could definitely improve on,
Sure,
right? For some of
sure.
us, we might talk a little fast, or
Mm,
we don't, we cut the person off, or we don't actively like listen because we're gonna, there's so many different things. We're gonna be our own biggest critic
yeah,
when we listen to ourselves,
yeah, yeah.
right? And until you hear it for yourself, you don't necessarily realize that you're doing it.
For sure, for sure. And
Yeah.
we're all guilty.
Yeah.
I think if you're going to really make a point of phone calling, make sure you're doing it on a good day.
Hmm.
We talked about this at the training session last week. Is it okay if it's a bad day, if you're having a day, to make it take a pause on
Hmm.
calls or leads or working your business, whatever it is? Everybody's different, but I do think that if you're going to be physically talking to these people, make sure that you got a clear head. You know what I mean? You got to be sunshine and butterflies, man. You got
Yeah,
to be when you're on the phone, right? Nobody
absolutely.
wants a Debbie Downer. Nobody wants a greedy, hungry realtor. They want to know
Yes,
that you're here to help, plain and simple. And if you can't get that across that day, that's a day to maybe focus on another area of your business.
you betcha.
Yeah.
You betcha.
Yeah. What a great time.
Awesome. It was. It was. If you want to schedule anything with
Welcome.
this system, Gag and Preet, just email support at agentlocator.ca, and they'll put you in touch with the training department to get you scheduled in.
Perfect. Well,
Awesome.
hopefully everybody had a good session and
Yeah,
I will see you in a month.
sounds good. Awesome. We'll be interested to see how this bot works out for you.
Oh
Uh,
God. So do I got to contact
uh,
support too?
yeah, just contact support and I'll get it going for you.
Okay.
Awesome.
I'm
All right,
so
thanks
nervous.
everyone.
Okay, I'm doing it.
Okay.
I'll do
You can
it.
turn it off at
Bye.
any time. Just remember that. Bye.
Okay, bye. Oh my God.